Good evening, and thanks for being here, everybody. This is the late night special.
Falling, oh, I fall so hard for you.
Where we will bring you guys the details tonight of the story behind our new queen. Now, please give a warm welcome to our new queen and our beloved king.
Hi everyone, thank you for having me.
But let's also not forget about the man who won all of our hearts with his kindful act, the cook of the kingdom. Thank you all for being here tonight and giving me the opportunity to ask you the questions everyone has been dying to know the answers to. So why don't we get started? Now, Queen Talia, you were in a deep sleep when you first met our king, correct?
Yeah, I was asleep. When we first met, I was under a spell and left alone in my palace. My father was told by some wise men that I would be in danger from a splinter from flax. So my father wanted no flax or hemp in the palace. And the wise men were right. I ended up pricking myself and fell into a great slumber. I was alone until one day the king happened to be around hunting and decided to explore my palace. And that's where he found me, sitting by myself, asleep.
Oh, so romantic. Did he wake you up with the true love's first kiss?
No, it wasn't true love's kiss that woke me up. Actually, it was 9 months after the king had left, and one of my babies woke me up once he had sucked the splinter out of my finger. And how did that happen? Well, the thing is, these two fairies were taking care of my two babies once they were born while I was asleep. So they decided to put the babies onto my breast to breastfeed. And one of the babies didn't find a nipple and ended up actually finding the finger that got poked by the splinter, and he sucked the splinter out, which caused me to wake up from my great slumber.
Hold up. You're telling us that this entire time you were asleep until your babies were born? How the heck did that happen? What was going through your mind when you saw Talia sitting all alone in that velvet chair in the kingdom?
I thought it'd be okay to do it with her since my wife wasn't giving me enough. I know it was wrong to do that, but now we have two beautiful children who we both love.
Oh, good heavens. But then again, we all knew our queen was a little too uptight to begin with. Anyways, Queen Talia, what were your thoughts on the king's actions towards your first encounter? Because, I mean, clearly you guys came to some sort of understanding.
Of course I thought it was clearly wrong. I was asleep. I couldn't give fucking consent. And it hurts me to say, but he raped me. But he stayed for a few days in my palace. I got to know him, and I forgave him. He's the father of my kids, and he had promised me to take me with him to his kingdom, and that made me happy.
Ah, I see. Okay. Well, what were your initial thoughts when you were presented with two beautiful babies after you woke up?
Yeah, when I first woke up, I was surprised to see the two jewels at my side, that I even clasped them to my breast and held them as dear as life. But I was confused because I didn't know what had happened and why my father left me alone in my palace and he didn't stay. There was a lot of food left for me, fresh food, for me to eat. But I didn't know who that food was from until the king came back and he answered all the questions that I had for him.
I'm glad you got your answers, but we still need ours. What happened to our old queen? We want to know.
My crazy ex decided to go investigate and try to sabotage our relationship.
How? Who would betray our king like that?
Well, from what I heard, she had threatened and bribed my secretary to do her bidding.
So after, when she found out about you two, what did she do?
She had sent the secretary to me and asked for the children, saying that they were being summoned by the king. Of course, I believed the secretary. He worked for the king. And I was just pleased to hear that their dad wanted them at the castle. So I let them go with the secretary.
Then she asked our cook to cut their throats and serve them to me as a meal, too.
No way! That's horrible! What was your reaction when you were asked upon this request?
Of course, I thought to myself, who could be capable of doing such a horrible deed? I mean, what a total psychopath. No wonder the king cheated on her.
So, how did you save the children then?
I knew I had to think quickly. I handed them right off to my wife and told her, you hide them. And then I just could see the fear in their eyes, and I couldn't have lived with myself if I had killed them. So I proceeded to make the meal by just getting some goat from our royal barn.
So, when you presented the king with the meal, she thought her plan was working. Ah, I see. But, King, didn't you think it was a little weird when she kept encouraging you to enjoy your meal and telling you repeatedly that you are eating what is your own?
I just thought she was acting weird, but she's always in the mood after I've been out hunting for so long.
So then what happened?
Well, this time, the crazy bitch sent the secretary to summon me. And, of course, I thought that the king was summoning me. So I missed the king and my babies, and I ended up going.
But when you saw the king wasn't there, what happened?
Well, of course I was surprised. I thought the king summoned me. Instead, his crazy ex-wife was yelling at me, calling me a bitch. She was saying that I was going into purgatory and paying for all the harm that I had done to her. I told her it wasn't my fault that the king had taken possession of my territory while I was asleep. Bitch said it was my fault I was raped, like I could do anything about that. Well, maybe if she was giving him what he wanted at home, he didn't have to go looking for it somewhere else.
Oh, shit. I bet she was pissed.
Oh, she was furious. But luckily I came home just in time to save Talia. And once I found out about everything, I threw her crazy ass into the flames, along with my secretary who betrayed me.
Did you find out where your kids were?
Well, at first I thought I had really eaten them because of the cook obeying that crazy bitch's orders. I was about to throw her into the flames too, but then she told me that my kids were safe and I didn't actually eat them.
So what was going through your mind, Cook, when you were being accused by the king that you had killed the children?
In my head, I told him, shut the front door. I mean, I have worked for him for years. How could he not trust me? Right? But obviously out loud, I told him the truth, that my wife hid them, and please, I begged him not to throw me into the flames.
Well, I assume that when you found out the truth of what happened to your kids and what the cook did, you both were very grateful of his actions, right? Come on. He broke a command of the queen to save 2 innocent children, even though he knew that if he got caught, he would be dead. Surely earns him some sort of compensation, correct?
Well, apparently I'm the luckiest man in the whole entire world because the king granted me a promotion to be his gentleman bed chamber. So obviously I won't be doing this or this anymore.
Well, congratulations on your promotion for your honorable deed. And congrats to our new queen.
Bye, everyone.
Well, that's all the time we have tonight, folks. Thank you for joining us and have a good night.